If I was starting over today and I had absolutely no gear, what are the things that I would buy? Let's say I had no gear and a very minimal budget. What are the things that I would buy? What should you buy if you're in that situation? Hey everyone, I'm Cole Caparoon. Thank you for stopping by for another video. I thought this would be a fun one because I get asked all the time, what the first interface, what the first microphone, what the first compressor, like I constantly get asked advice for people on what they should buy first. So let's just crank it out in a video. I'm coming at this as like I'm 21, 22 years into this. My house burned down and there's no insurance money, let's say, and I have to record tomorrow. What are the things that I'm gonna buy first to just start getting back to work and making music? So let's get into it. The very first thing that you need is a computer. Now, my very top pick for a budget computer is the new M4 Mac Mini. It is $599, which is absolutely insane for a computer this powerful. A computer powerful enough that I wouldn't hesitate to try in this setup of my studio, which is nuts. Now, there's not a ton of internal storage on this one, so you will have to run an external hard drive. I do every time anyway. All of my sessions are hosted on an external hard drive, regardless of how much internal storage I have. But this is hands down my top pick. Now, I will put links in the description down below to every single thing we're gonna talk about. The computers, the microphones, the interfaces, the studio monitors, the compressors. They'll all be linked in the description down below. And those links go to Sweetwater. So I just wanna thank Sweetwater for sponsoring this video. Anytime you guys need any piece of musical gear whatsoever, not just the things that are on this list, you can jump on any one of my videos, click on any link in the description of any video, and once you're on the site, you can purchase absolutely anything you need. And if you do that, it goes a long ways to help me keep making content just like this. So thank you for using those links anytime you need to purchase anything, and huge thank you to Sweetwater for sponsoring this video. On to interfaces. Now, my pick for the budget interface that I would go with if I had to start over right now is the PreSonus Quantum 2626. I think PreSonus, generally speaking, is incredible bang for buck. I think they make really good stuff at a really affordable price. And so if I was in a pinch and I just needed an interface that would do, you know, a handful of channels with some microphone preamps built in, this is what I would go with. We got a couple headphone outputs. We've got 8 microphone preamps. You could run hardware inserts with this. You could record a small drum kit with this. For $614, I think this is a no-brainer interface. But what if we want to kick it up a notch? What if we want to go a little bit more premium? My pick for a medium tier interface, one that's just a little bit more premium, would be the Motu 848. Now, this is a new Thunderbolt interface. By the way, both of these are Thunderbolt interfaces, because if you're gonna go Mac, you're gonna go with the new Mac Mini, you might as well do a Thunderbolt interface. Now, on this interface, you get 4 XLR inputs, 4 mic pre's, and then you also get 12 TRS inputs and outputs, so you can patch in your own gear, use for hardware inserts, whatever you want to do. It's got 2 headphone outputs as well, and I just think that this is a really well-rounded mid-tier interface. Now let's talk cost is no object on this category. I'm not going to do a cost is no object on every category, but on this one I will, and it's what I'm already running. My Avid Matrix Studio, along with my Avid HDIO, both running through an HDX card, and I've also just added the Grace M908 monitor controller. Obviously, this is a ridiculous setup. Like, this is a very much a cost is no object setup, but that's what I'm running. So there you go. There's your cost is no object setup. Let's move on to monitors. You can't work on music if you can't hear what you're doing. Pretty much hands down, my pick for a budget monitor is the PreSonus Aris Pro 8. I have these over in Studio B over here. I think they're absolutely fantastic, especially for like $700 a pair. I think they're absolutely fantastic. The low end is great on them. They have plenty of low end extension. The mid range is pretty transparent. The top end is pretty crisp. It's not harsh in any way. I'm really, really impressed by these, and they've been over in Studio B for, I don't know, 6-7 months now. They're very, very good monitor for the money. Now let's say I wanted to kick it up a notch and go up just a level. Focal Solo 6s. I think these are really, really great monitors. And if I was looking for one step up from budget, this is about as low as I would go. I would go budget, and then I would go right to these if it were me. Now, what do you need next is a microphone. Hard to record people without a microphone. Let's talk vocal mic first. I'm just gonna go straight to the Lawton Audio Atlantis. I've had it here for several years. I use it all the time. I think it's an absolutely fantastic microphone. It is $1,760-ish. So it's not a budget microphone necessarily, but it's not a premium cost microphone either. And I think it's a no-brainer. I would just go immediately for this. I wouldn't even consider anything else if I was rebuilding everything. This is the first microphone that I would go for. It's worked on every single singer. It's worked in every genre. It's worked on every instrument that I've ever tried it on with incredible results. Now, for me personally, I also need a pair of small diaphragm condensers. I do a lot of acoustic instrument recording in here, acoustic guitar, mandolin, banjo, dobro, like all that kind of stuff. And so for me, if I was going budget, it would be the Lawton Audio LA120 pair. I have a pair of those here. I've also had those for maybe a year now, and I think they are really, really good for a budget pair of microphones. I think they punch well above their $500 price point. And so if I was budget constrained, this is what I would be going for. But if I wanted to step it up a notch, I would be going for the Neumann KM184s, which I also have a pair that I bought 12 years ago. They're absolutely fantastic. In that like $1,600-ish price point, I don't know that there's another pair that I prefer more. They're just a workhorse microphone that sounds great on piano and acoustic guitar and drum overheads, everything I've ever used them for. But I do have a pair on my list. So we are going to talk cost is no object on this one, and that is the Schoeps CMC6 Mark IV. This is, and I'm not trying to overstate this, these are the best small diaphragm condenser microphones I've ever used. And I will have a pair of these one day. I do not have them yet. These microphones' ability to sound like there's no microphone there at all, but also still make the source sound better than it actually does in person. It's hard to put into words for me, but that's how I feel about them. It's like you can't even hear that there's a microphone there, but yet somehow the acoustic guitar or the piano or the drum overheads, they sound better than they do in real life. It's the wildest thing, and these are very, very high on my list, possibly the next microphones that I will acquire. But the Schoeps CMC6 Mark IV pair are stunning microphones. Okay, next up on my list, I need a mix bus compressor. As I've talked a lot on this channel before, when I'm mixing, the very first piece of hardware that I would buy is something to go on my mix bus. Now, it's probably a toss-up between my signature preamps and a mix bus compressor. My signature preamps are not available at the moment. There is a bunch of signature drops for hardware coming up soon. Hit the top link in the description down below to sign up for the email list so you get early notification when I think we're going to do another run of these preamps. And we're also working on 2 other signature model things that are just some of the best stuff I've ever heard in my life. So hit the link in the description below, sign up for the email list so you get notified. But I do think that compression is plugins' weakest link. Compression is the thing that plugins do the worst of all the different parts of the process. And so the mix bus compressor that I would probably choose, which I already have chosen, is the Serpent SB4001. Now, like 7 or 8 years ago, I did this giant mix bus compressor shootout on Instagram where I tried out the Allen Smart C1 and C2 and the vintage SSL and the Serpent and the Obsidian and a Shadow Hills and the 2500 and like just a ton of mix bus compressors. I documented it all on my Instagram. There's a link to my Instagram in the description down below, so go follow me on there. Scroll back if you want to read my thoughts on all of those from back in the day. But the Serpent SB4001 was hands down the choice back then, and I still think it is a fantastic compressor and a very good bang for the buck. I still have mine. I still use it all the time. It is $1,350, and so that would be one of the very first things that I bought for outboard gear. Now, I really like to track vocals with compression. I never record a vocal without compression, and so a good outboard hardware compressor is an absolute must for me. Single channel, at least a single channel for vocals. Now, in my opinion, you want to choose a compressor that is extremely versatile, which means it'll work on all genres, all voices. Ideally, you have a compressor that also works on all sources. And so my choice for this is something 1176. You cannot go wrong with an 1176 of pretty much any kind, but if I was starting over today and I was budget restrained and I needed an 1176 compressor, the one that I would go with is the Audioscape 76F Deluxe. I'm a big fan of Audioscape, as you guys know. I mean, 1/3 of this rack is Audioscape right back here. And their Deluxe 76s has additional attack and release times and a wet-dry blend knob, so you can do parallel compression. It's a pretty cool compressor. And so if I was in a spot where I needed a compressor right now, this is probably the one I would go with. Also, this means that you could mix with it. You can run your kick drum through it, your snare drum through it, you could track bass through it, you could track acoustic guitar through it, you could track vocals through it, and you could use it to mix all of those things as well. The 1176 is just one of the most well-rounded compressors that there is, that just kind of works on everything, and I think this would be a great choice. If I was starting over today, that would be my choices. I hope you found this entertaining and enjoyed this. Again, links in the description for every single thing that I mentioned in this video, along with all the other gear that I use on a daily basis. If you've made it this far, I feel like I've earned your subscription if you've not subscribed yet, so don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment, let me know what your first pieces of gear that you would buy are, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.